Welcome back to another video tutorial. This one is going to show you how to get started with challenge 2. First thing you need to do is on your desktop, find the icon called This PC, double click on it, find your 320 number under network locations, double click on it, find My Robotics, double click on it, find the graphical RC PC files folder, double click on it, and then you're going to double click on challenge 1. Now, please keep in mind, challenge 1 is as mentioned earlier, the file that we're going to be using for the first 5 challenges. We're just going to resave it when we're done with it and give it a different name. Okay. So to get started, we simply double click. This opens the program. Now, we've got the challenge 1 file open, and I want you to notice something. It appears to be an error. This red X means there's an error. Now, there isn't actually an error. What the problem is that for some reason, the program keeps resetting back to a different platform type. Now, let me show you what I mean by that. Do you remember at the beginning of the last video, I said the first thing you got to do is go up to where it says robot and check a couple things. You want to check, first of all, that the communication mode is USB only. It is. The compiler target is physical robot. It is. The platform type is VEX 2.0 Cortex. It is. And it also needs to be natural language PLTW. It isn't right now. And that's why we're getting that error message. So we need to change it. We need to click on it and then notice it goes away. So we've got our file open. And the very first thing we want to do is resave it. Okay. Now, pay close attention to these steps because this is very important because we don't want to get rid of our challenge 1 file. Okay, we want to keep that, but we want to use the code that's in it. So we want to make a new file. So I'm going to show you how to do that. What you need to do is come up to the top left-hand corner, find the file menu and click on that. And come down to save as. Now it's very important. I know this can get a little confusing. I don't want you to hit save. I don't want you to hit save as a macro file. I want you to hit save as. Okay, very important that you do that. So when you click that, all right. So where we want to save it is in our My Robotics folder, and that's where it has opened us up to. There's our challenge. There's our files we have right now. So what we want to do is come down to where it says file name, and we're going to change this so that we don't end up deleting the challenge 1. So we're going to change this to say challenge 2. And I'm going to name it by putting in what our goal is. So what we need to do is add code. You know what I'll do? I'll make it nice and simple. I'll just write limit and bump switch. Limit and bump switch, because that's what we're adding. So we'll keep it nice and simple. So it says challenge 2, limit and bump switch. When I click save, it is going to save this file as this name. It'll make a whole separate file. So we won't get rid of challenge 1. We don't want to do that. Okay. So save. All right. Now, to prove that, to show you that it created a different file, if I go to start, this PC, go to my H drive, 320 account, My Robotics, look, it's made a whole separate file. We did not delete the first one. Okay, so we did it right. We don't want to delete the first one. We want to make a new file using the first one and give it a different name. Okay, so now we're ready to go. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to tell it to add a certain command, and that command is going to be an until touch because the limit switch is a sensor, a touch sensor. So we're going to come down under until and find until touch. I'm going to drag this up, and I'm going to put this right at the very top. Okay, I want it above the motor command because the way that this is read is that it will read what's at it'll read from top to bottom. Oh, before I go any further, I forgot to change the name of my comment. And I'm going to do that right now. See, it says add code to start the right motor on full power for 3 seconds. I'm going to change that. And I'm going to say add code to, I'm going to say add code for a limit, just like in the title, limit and bump switch. Okay, click away from it. Very important that we do that. Okay, it's basically like a title for this. Okay, so back to our until touch. Now we need to tell the until touch command what port to look for. Well, as I mentioned in our previous assignment and video, you don't have to worry about setting up the ports yet. We'll do that later. Right now is just about figuring out how to use commands. So click on this arrow, and we want to come down and we want to find limit switch. And there it is right there. So we'll just click on that, and then that is all set right there. So until touch. So in other words, when we touch the limit switch, what'll happen is it'll start the right motor. Okay. Now, for this particular assignment, we don't need a wait command because we're going to put in another touch sensor, a bump switch, to stop the motor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down. I'm going to get another until touch. I'm going to drag that up, put it just above the stop motor command. And for this until touch, we want it to say bump switch. So I'm going to click on this arrow and find the bump switch and click on that. Now, we don't want the computer to read the wait command. So we could just get rid of it. We have two options, really. We could come over here and click on the 4. That'll turn it into a comment, and it'll no longer be read by the program. But I recommend we just get rid of it. So click on it, and you can right-click on it and click cut, or just drag it out and dump it in the recycle bin right there. And notice that it drags up. It moves all the commands up one. So it reads until touch limit switch. So when we touch the limit switch, the right motor will start on 127, full speed. Until I touch the bump switch, then it'll stop the right motor. Okay. All right. So we're ready to run it. So I'm going to save. I'm going to compile. I'm going to download the robot. When our program debug window comes up, I'm going to click start, but notice that nothing happened. Like last time, the motor started automatically. Well, this time it's different because we have told the program, don't do anything until we touch the limit switch. So what we got to do is we got to find the limit switch and press that. So I just did that. And now it'll keep running forever if we let it until I touch the bump switch. So now I'm going to touch the bump switch, and now it turned off. And there you go. That is Programming Challenge 2.